York County is so much more than just a stop for gas along I-80. 17 County is filled with unique individuals with unique stories, just wanting to be told.
Welcome to another episode of 17 County Podcast, where we spotlight the people, projects, and progress powering growth across our region. From business expansion to community revitalization, we bring you behind the scenes of what's shaping our future. We're proud to recognize the organizations that make this podcast possible. A special thank you to the dedicated stakeholders investing in local impact. Central Valley Ag, Clutie Incorporated, Overland Ready Mix, Collins Aerospace, Meade Lumber Company, and Perennial Public Power District. We're also grateful for the continued support of our financial stakeholders, Henderson State Bank, Midwest Bank, and York State Bank, who help drive business sustainability across the county. Empowering innovation and reliability behind the scenes, we recognize K-Junction, OPPD, and Nebraska Public Power District. Your support fuels the stories we share and the future we're building together. Now, let's get into today's episode. Today's guest is Jay Colburn, Vice President of Long-Term Care Services at York General. Jay's journey into healthcare leadership is rooted in a deep respect for community, quality of life, and the belief that aging should come with dignity, independence, and support. Under his leadership, York General is not only growing its facilities, but also expanding the vision of what long-term care can and should be. From infrastructure investments to strategic care models, Jay is helping redefine aging in place and what it means to grow older in a community that values its people. So thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I guess before we really get started, we should probably talk about who you are. What do you do? What is your position?
Sure. My title is the Vice President of Long-Term Care Services with York General. And also have my nursing home administrator's license that is on the wall at the Hearthstone. So
beautiful. What does that mean?
Day to day would be the oversight of the operations of the Hearthstone and Willowbrook, and then we also have some senior housing apartments.
Wow. So pretty overarching. So that's kind of an interesting career. What kind of led you down that career path into not only healthcare, but specifically that long-term and elder care piece?
Well, I was in college and going to business school, and just not really sure where I fit. How was this going to work? Growing up, all the rest of my family, aunts, uncles, mother, father, everybody either was a nurse or a doctor or worked in education, or some pastors mingled in there. Everybody was in some type of service industry. And they all regularly shared how rewarding they found that to be. So I knew I wanted to do something in business, but I was looking for a place where I could still serve others at the same time. And spent some time with some family friends that worked in nursing homes and assisted livings, and they were very generous with their time to let me shadow them, and that really kind of opened the door of what could be and helped me find my life work.
Do you think that there was a specific moment or job that was like, this is it, this is where I want to stay?
Unfortunately, I think I'm more of a step-by-step person.
Yeah,
it would be much more exciting if I had a specific moment. But it really was just time and seeing how the facilities operated and seeing the population they served. I think spending those hours shadowing really piqued my interest, but probably what firmly cemented me in wanting to pursue long-term care administration as my life work was once I started working as a direct care staff member. So worked as a nurse's assistant, medication aide for a little while, a dietary aide, worked as an activity aide in a memory support unit as I was going through college in Tennessee. And I actually operated as a cook for a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I still owe many apologies to those residents. But I promise I was trying my best. So it's just not my calling.
Fair. So This career, I feel like, can be really difficult. It definitely has its challenges. What challenges or rewards would you say are unique to the field that you have had to kind of work your way through?
Yeah, I think challenges, it really centers around regulatory pressures that we have from federal government. It's been really surprising how rapidly those requirements have changed over even the past 4, 5, 6 years. Very difficult to keep up with all of those expectations, and when the goal line keeps getting further and further in the distance, it gets harder and harder to make it across.
Right.
But the rewards that we see, I really think the big rewards we see is, if our family members that we're serving have peace of mind that their loved ones are being well cared for, if the residents that we're serving are doing the best they can do, and they're happy and they're safe, and they have the freedom to pursue social pursuits and do things they enjoy, rather than really having to worry how they're going to struggle through just daily needs. I think that's really rewarding to see people enjoy that, and be around others is really special. And then staff-wise, I think long-term care is something that's also really interesting, where you can start as a nurse's aide, a dietary aide. That's what I did as well. And then you can work from there to match your potential with your passion. And where those two lines cross, then you can stop right there and find what you were made to do, which is really, really fun. So it's neat to see staff find that spot, or try and help them find that spot, or push on them, and you find that nope, just maybe leave that person alone. They're where they want to be and doing what they love doing with their residents and serving their elders. So
we are going to move on to some of the specific projects and improvements that are going on, because you guys have so much happening, and you've had so much happen within a really, honestly, a pretty short time frame. So what are some of the big projects that you're doing right now?
Well, really proud that York General can be working on some long-term care projects. I know that sounds really obvious, but we've seen over 10% of the long-term care facilities in the state close over the past 4 or 5 years. So where we're able to actually reinvest into our long-term care services is really special. So the specifics, we are renovating all of the hallways and dining areas and common areas in the Hearthstone, the main entrance and kind of offices area. We'll get to that later. That's where the staff work. We're trying to get to our resident areas first so they can enjoy that. Again, we're trying to set things up so it's easier for families to visit, and that residents really feel drawn into areas where they can socialize and spend time together, or with their loved ones, or with the staff. So that's kind of what's going on at the Hearthstone. We're also adding 8 rooms at the Hearthstone, and we renovated another area into a resident room, which doesn't sound huge, but when we add those 9 rooms and then we decertify some double rooms to single rooms, we'll go from about a 50% semi-private or shared rooms and 50% private rooms, and we'll go up to about 85% private rooms, which I think will be a big satisfier for the folks we're trying to serve and their family members. So that will be a huge change. And then we're also adding a programming or activity space for our memory support unit. And then we'll have 2 dedicated households for memory support. There's just a huge need for memory support, especially in rural areas in Nebraska. We've seen quite a few facilities step away from memory support. It's difficult to do right. It takes the right people. It takes the right spirit.
Sure.
So we're excited to be able to continue to offer that to our York and surrounding communities. The other big project that folks might have seen if they're heading down Lincoln Avenue, there's a big old independent living addition going on to Willowbrook. So Willowbrook is our assisted living. They have 40 apartments there and are licensed for 50 beds. Ended up working with a company to complete a market study, and they get largely into demographics of what you look like and what services will be needed based on what number of beds and facilities are already in the service area. And that report came back with just a huge need for independent living. And we had thought there was. We didn't think the need would be that large. But we continued to see folks who they would raise their children here. They would operate a business in York for 40, 50 years. They would volunteer all the time in retirement at the schools or downtown at other businesses, and still very, very involved. But when it came time for independent living, well, they were moving out of town. Yeah. And it was their town. They built it. They made York special.
Right.
So really appreciate our board of directors approving the project to add independent living. I think it's a really important part of our continuum. And again, we want folks, I mean, if they want to go live close to their kids and grandkids and they're more in the Lincoln, Omaha metro, well, go do it. But if they want to stay close to their friends and family here in the community they've always known, I always maintain their friends will have more time to spend with them anyways, right. And they should stay by their friends. But I'm probably biased. So that's kind of the big deal with independent living. We're starting with 22 apartments in phase 1, and there will be opportunity for phase 2 if and when that makes sense. And we just need to see how our community reacts to that project. So
right. And it looks beautiful. I mean, it's going up fast. You blink and it's going up. Yeah,
design took a long time. You see a lot of things on plans, and I'm a person that just I need to see it before I really fully understand. Right. It's gorgeous. Yep. Yeah. And again, very nice common areas for folks to spend time together, socializing. We'll kind of have a club area, a bistro area to grab a quick coffee or a sandwich, several seating areas to just kind of visit with friends or spend time with family, a large activity or community gathering space, and then an activity area as well. So
okay. I know that I have heard a lot of interest about that facility in particular. Do you guys have any timelines in place yet? I know. Hard questions.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. We thought it was opening more November, December, but it sounds like it's looking more late September, early October. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it is absolutely flying. We had a mild winter, and Samson's Construction and our York General team that has been working with them. Treva, our administrator at Willowbrook, will also oversee the independent living, and she's been working really hard to answer their questions timely so they can stay after the project. And it's really going quickly, and it's going very, very well. So
that is awesome to hear. So before we move on from that, if somebody were to want more information about that, where would they go to find that?
We have some information on our website for a good start. Cannot offer tours just yet, or everybody would have to be in hard hats, and they might be scared seeing how the sausage is made when you're building something, but it'll be beautiful when it's done. Or they can stop by Willowbrook and visit with Trevor or her staff as well. Okay. Just met with our marketing department today, and I would just tell folks to stay tuned. Okay. The information will likely be coming to find you shortly. So,
fair enough.
Probably looking more into, mid to late June, we'll see a lot more. So
Wonderful. One thing that you've alluded to a couple times, and I know that I've heard your guys' CEO talk about, is aging in place and just how important that is. Why would you say it is so important to York General's mission?
Yeah. If we look into our mission and vision value statements, we talk about providing quality care throughout all stages of life, right? So aging in place, I think it's really easy to take it as a very literal statement of I'm going to age forever in my home, my townhome, my apartment, my bedroom, my surroundings. I really take it more aging in place as aging in your community and having the different needs being met in your community. So whatever our hospital and medical staff can provide, or if we need some home health and we're staying at home, well, that is the definition of aging in place.
Yeah.
But also if you need additional supports, or folks really benefit more from the social value, or just having things taken care of by living in an apartment or an independent living or assisted living. If they have more physical needs or medical needs, looking at skilled nursing care, you're still in your community. And especially in a town our size, we have a lot of wonderful amenities for the size of our town, but we're still a very small town.
Right.
And nothing's very far from anywhere or anybody in York. And to me, that's aging in place. And so the gap we kind of identified was that independent living step, where we have folks that I mentioned to me, or that they're kind of, York sustainers, or even founding members that have had businesses forever.
Yeah.
And if they feel like they have to leave for independent living, then they don't feel like they can age in place. Yeah. Because that need can't be met. So that's where we're trying to plug that gap.
Yeah. So I'm kind of jumping around here, and I realize I never really had to explain which each facility does, because I know that there's a lot of variation in the services that you guys provide. So within that long-term care, elder care, what all is there? I mean, what all do those buildings specifically give to the community?
Sure. So we currently do have 12 market rate apartments that are for 55 plus. And then we also have 2 low income apartment complexes, or income controlled. And that meets a lot of important needs where folks can stay close to home. What we saw was a real gap for more middle market or market rate apartments, and kind of all inclusive type stay, which is where we decided to add independent living. That was our primary gap. And then we have our assisted living facility. Again, we run a very social model, but you receive all your meals, housekeeping, medications, some light physical needs assistance there. Or if you aren't feeling well, it doesn't result in a hospitalization. Somebody can help you by for a couple of days until I'm feeling like myself again.
Right.
And then at the Hearthstone, we have short-term rehabilitation stays. There's long-term stays where if folks have chronic illnesses and need assistance, or physical assistance, medical help, their medications there. And then we also have a lot more staff and lifts that we can assist folks who might have some physical difficulties getting around.
Sure.
And then I think we mentioned memory support earlier as another service that we offer at the Hearthstone.
So like you were saying, at any stage, there's a place for you.
I think so. I think we're covering the big ones once we get independent open, but who knows what gap we find next.
You'll get some phone calls after this.
Yep.
No.
At Cornerstone Bank, we are committed to providing you the best in banking products and service. With 46 locations throughout Nebraska, we are dedicated to serve you. Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Today's podcast is brought to you by York Equipment Incorporated and York Medical Clinic. Let's get back to the podcast. I guess going into more of that quality of life, and you touched a lot on this, so we don't have to get too into depth on it, but quality of life for those long-term care residents, what does that look like? How do you develop programming around that?
Sure. I think a lot of it, when we're talking about a skilled nursing facility or like the Hearthstone, a lot of it wraps around the plan of care. So if residents are able to tell us what they want or what their goal is, then that's our goal as well. If they may not be able to share as much, then we really lean on the families more so to share with us on what that resident used to enjoy, what they currently enjoy, what they react well to, kind of what the daily rhythm was can really be helpful, because we all have our our daily habits, and they only get more ingrained as we age. So a lot of it is either getting that input directly from the resident or from the families. I think a lot of it, or some of the statements I've heard before, is maybe like the family's eyes and our hands providing the care if we're doing it right, or learning our residents by having and their needs and their wants, so we can anticipate needs is better than having to try and react to what that person needs.
Right.
And that makes things go better for everyone.
Right. So it's kind of catered to the individual.
Absolutely, and what their goals are.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it is just trying to provide that environment where there's peace of mind and folks feel safe, and they can focus on on enjoying themselves and enjoying their time.
Yeah.
Knowing that their needs are met. So
yeah. I'm getting a little off topic here, but just out of pure curiosity for me, how did you see the landscape kind of shift with COVID? I mean, I know that nursing homes were hit pretty hard and there was a lot of burnout, and I mean, you name it, it happened. So how do you see that lingering effect today?
Yeah, going into long-term care administration and training it, I always, part of what draws me to the industry and to serving elders and just kind of how facilities work is that there's always challenges, right? There's always something to keep you busy. It's never dull. It's never mundane. There's always something to do. But COVID brought challenges that nobody anticipated. I never wanted to be that busy, and I never wanted to learn that much. It was just it was an awful lot and really hard on staff, and to see that so much change in our industry, and just regulatory wise, it was a huge challenge, a huge lift. Never expected to go through a global pandemic working in healthcare.
Yeah.
Never saw that coming in a million years. So it has been difficult, especially staff-wise. We still see the numbers. I think long-term care as a whole, as an industry across the U.S., we lost something like over 15% of our workforce.
Wow.
We still, as an industry, have not recovered back to where we started before the pandemic. We've seen growth, which has been good. It's come back some, but all other sectors of healthcare have recovered to where they have more staff than they did pre-pandemic, and we're still trying to catch up to where we were pre-pandemic.
Man. And
going into the pandemic, all facilities needed, they probably would have taken a couple more positions or a couple more for cushion to cover leaves or when folks are out. So yeah, it's been hard, and especially in long-term care, what we're required to do is really hard. We're used to looking for win-wins, and being stuck with trying to choose the lesser of the evils was really challenging, and just it was hard, and hard on staff, especially when the industry as a whole. It's always a lot of hard work, and what's rewarding is you get to work with your elders and develop those relationships over weeks, months, years and years.
Yeah.
Really special. But then it makes it really challenging when you have all those different limitations, and you're having to tell your customer no or dictate what they're going to do, when typically we're asking them what they want us to do, and we're trying our best to figure out how to do what they want instead of dictating what can or can't be done. So sorry, you only put about a nickel in for an answer, and I gave you about 2 dimes back. But yeah, it was a lot, and we're still recovering. But as a whole, it's good. It's good to see the industry coming back, and we're following along the same trend lines.
Yeah.
So.
And you alluded a little bit to just the staffing needs that you still have today. If there was somebody, let's say they're in high school and we're looking at being a CNA or even further and getting their bachelor, whatever education is needed, what would you say to them? Like, how would you kind of tell them to prepare, I guess?
I would say spend time shadowing or hop in.
Yeah. And
go. Healthcare is a wonderful industry to work in, and very, very rewarding. Obviously, I prefer the elder care and those long-term relationships that we get to make. But entering anywhere, as from a dietary aide or a nurse's aide, you can take the class, nurse aide class, through York High School. You can take it through Southeast locally. You can take it online hybrid. The Hearthstone will offer classes occasionally as well. If it does cost anything, then the first facility will reimburse you for that.
Wow.
Once you're hired, so no worries there. Eventually, you might have to float it for a little while, but not long. And then if they do join York General, then we will sponsor folks to continue through with their medication aid if they want to move on from nurse's aid. And same thing, we have income and tuition support that the organization offers that will cover the cost of tuition for our staff to become LPNs or RNs.
Wow.
So it does come with a couple-year commitment
of course.
To work with York General.
Yes.
But it's really not. I don't think it's a terribly long time, and what a great opportunity to not have that student debt hanging over your head or trying to balance how am I paying rent and buying groceries while I'm trying to go to school and work at the same time. So yeah, it's wonderful. And then once you are, say you're in the nursing profession, it's just so many careers in one.
Yeah.
And people can pick and choose, this shift works. Oh, only weekends work because what kids have going on. Oh, nope, I need to work a day or two a week. Oh, nope,
yeah.
I have big expense. We got a roof that we need to replace. I'm gonna work overtime. I mean, it's so flexible. It's really a wonderful career if folks have the right heart and the right spirit.
Yeah.
And that's the trick.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Amazing. And I will say I've heard nothing but good things about York General's culture and really valuing staff and valuing the people they serve. It doesn't sound like a bad deal to have to work there for a couple of years is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, it's been neat to see the organization recognized as one of the modern healthcare best places to work, something like, 10 or 11 years. Wow. And I think the other thing that I would hope is positive is we have very, very steady leadership and directors overall in our organization. The drawback is we all are still human. Yeah, of course. Like the things that I do that drive people crazy, well, at least they can see it coming because I'm consistent and you're not having to guess. But we do try to create a safe work environment and a positive work environment. Absolutely. Okay. So now we're going to move on to another section, which we call quick fire rounds. So these are off the top of your head what your response would be. If you have to think about it, so do I. So no judgment. What is one of the most rewarding parts of your job? Yeah, I think that's what we touched on earlier, and that's just seeing those family members have peace of mind, those residents happy and living as independently as they can, and staff, either working towards or finding that cross point between their potential and their passion. Yeah. Yes, perfect. What is one myth about long-term care that you wish you could bust? A myth in long-term care. I think people pick on nursing home food all the time. I eat lunch there almost every day, and it's really good. So I don't know. That's funny. I kind of wish it wasn't so good because of my waistline. So. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, brother. Favorite way to unwind after a busy day? I like to walk my dogs with my wife. Oh, I like that. So. Yeah. What's one thing you wish more people understood about elder care?
I guess I wish they knew how special it is to be able to spend a significant amount of time with folks. You know, we're a lot of our residents, they have needs or they have medical needs, and that's hard. We want them to feel good. We want them to be able to be active and do everything they want. And they're experiencing some loss as they transition into those facilities sometimes, but a lot of times it frees them from those responsibilities and they're able to enjoy themselves. So I guess I just wish people understood we get to spend like a whole chapter of someone's life with them and their family, and it's really unique.
Yeah, it's kind of a beautiful thing. I mean, a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So
it can be masked by a lot of hard work.
Yeah, of course.
And especially speaking to my staff, I talked about the early direct care jobs I did, and I was never the best at any of them. I mean, on some of those, I really struggled to be average. It's very hard work, but yeah, what we do is very special. Yeah.
Well, I guess now we are going to get to wrapping up, but before I let you go, do you have any words of wisdom to anyone listening, whether that's they want to locate to York or York County and don't know where to start, or they live here and they want to know more about what resources are in the area? I've
raised my family here in York for about the past longer than 15 years now. 16, 17 years, something like that. And York is it's just a wonderful place to live. I think you really look at those pillars that you want in a community of really good education. And so we look at elementary, middle schools, high school, a couple of private schools. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about any of them. You can find the match you need. We have a college in town. Yeah. Southeast has come to town and they continue to grow their offerings. So from the educational standpoint, I really think we have that pillar that is super strong. Folks typically want health care. Of course, yes. I'm a little biased, but I think what York General offers to our community is very, very strong as well. And then we look at our business community and jobs and opportunities here in York, and even our greater community in the way of parks. The water park, an indoor swimming pool for a town our size is ridiculous in all the best ways. Yeah, it's wonderful. We don't know how blessed we are. So, and I think the other thing that's really neat about York is that, we're big enough to have those services. Golly, it's nice to have grocery stores and not have to drive 12 miles to buy milk like when I first moved to Nebraska. Mm-hmm. But it's also small enough in York that the more you want to lean in and be involved and continue to keep York strong and to make it better and better and grow as a person, grow your family, grow our community, those opportunities are available to folks in York. It's just a matter of whether they have the time and whether they want to be involved in those things. Yep, absolutely. Doors are open. You just got to walk through them. Absolutely. Yep. We need houses. We're working on it. Houses and apartments and all types of housing. But again, those projects are coming along nicely. So I'm hopeful. I'm really excited about everything going in York from building project and growth standpoint, for sure. Yes. One last plug for anything York General, whether that be one of the facilities that you oversee or anything else of the multitude of things that are provided. Where would they go to find that? I think website is a great place to start. I also think stopping by and just asking is a great place to start. I think the most important thing that I've seen is word of mouth. Phone a friend. But you're welcome to stop by and visit any of our facilities and find out. I think one of the best kept secrets is how many different specialist physicians we have that come to our specialty clinic. And there's folks that may live in York for 20, 30, 40 years and they don't know how many specialists come right here
Yeah.
And you don't have to lose a day of work or golf or whatever you wanted to do that day to go to a doctor's appointment. You can get most of it done right here and then figure it out from there, which, I mean, it's been huge help.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
For all of our residents and then for the community, I think it's huge. So
Yep, I agree.
Other than that, I think everybody give us till maybe July at the Hearthstone and then come out and take a tour and see what we've done with our renovations. It's beautiful in the resident living areas. And then give us till early fall, maybe October, and we'll be having some open houses at Independent Living, which will be exciting. So.
Yep, I'm excited to see it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I encourage anyone who's listening to stay involved and advocate for anything aging related, especially if they see needs in their families or in their neighborhoods. So once again, thank you. We will stay tuned. If anybody has questions and can't remember where to go to find them, you're always welcome to come to the YCDC and we can direct you. So we'll catch you next time. That's a wrap on another episode of the 17 County Podcast. As always, thank you for joining us to explore the business leaders, community champions, and transformational efforts shaping our regional economy. A final word of appreciation to our stakeholders: Central Valley Ag, Clutie Inc., Overland Ready Mixed, Collins Aerospace, Meade Lumber Company, Perennial Public Power District, Henderson State Bank, Midwest Bank, York State Bank, K-Junction, OPPD, and Nebraska Public Power District. Your investment doesn't just support this podcast, it strengthens York County's momentum in innovation, growth, and long-term resilience. Until next time, stay engaged, stay informed, and continue supporting the businesses and partners that make our communities thrive.